what investment are you going to have to make post-purchase to really make that property successful, especially in the vacation rental world, because it's not just having, hey, I've got a house on the beach. I mean, you've got to have the view, you've got to have the theming, you've got to have the decor, you're having the little things that are going to make a huge difference in whether or not you're going to get bookings, is having those extra amenities, especially here, in the Orlando market. There's houses everywhere, but if anyone's looked just on, Airbnb or booking.com or VRBO here, it's all these homes are like fun houses. I mean, they have game rooms and theme rooms, and there's a lot of things that, having the house is step one, but you really have to have the right things to make it successful.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Erica, and today I'm excited to be chatting with Jeansonne. He's been making serious moves with his company, Lavish Keys. John, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you, Erica. I'm just glad to be here.
I think our listeners are really going to be fascinated with how you're approaching your business. So let's just jump on in. First off, can you share more about how you got in the real estate world and what inspired you to form Lavish Keys?
Yeah, so I kind of got into the real estate world by happenstance. In another life, I used to work for hotel groups and I'd work with companies that were, buying and hotel acquisitions and kind of going through that whole transition process, and did that for a number of years, and then ended up taking a job as a national director for a startup vacation rental resort company, based in California. Over the course of about a decade, we kind of went from one little location in Northern California to, very quickly got into several other states and, multiple locations. And then we went to regional, and then we consolidated brands. And it went from one location to, I think, about 13 states. We had from Colorado to Hawaii around the time I'd formed Lavish Keys. And so a few thousand properties. So I could tell you the good, the bad, the ugly with the vacation rental industry. And, I decided to start my own company about a year before COVID. Set up the Orlando location as our flagship kind of operation. It's a great market for vacation rentals and tourism. And that being said, what I've kind of seen over the years, and especially with vacation rental investors, is a lot of the times, as our core is primarily a management company, but by the times owners would come to us, or people that bought a vacation house and kind of give us our complaints or their struggles that they were dealing with, either managing on their own with a previous vacation rental company.
Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
We just kind of would see time and time again that most of the time they made the wrong investment. And it's a tough conversation to have, but each market's different. Each location has different property types that perform better. And then on top of that, the homes have to have their own kind of, setup and kind of really set themselves away from the pack. And so we started coaching investors beforehand, really kind of getting ahead of before you buy something. Let's sit down, let's go over your budget. Let's go over, what you're trying to accomplish here. And our team can kind of help guide you with, both the right property type, the right location, and then the right things that property is going to need so it can be a good vacation rental investment. And we don't do any real estate by any means. It's really just to kind of help coach people and make sure that, by our investors making the right investment into the right vacation home, we found that our retention on these properties is much, much higher because they tend to own them longer because the revenue is doing better and they're doing better financially. And it just tends to help.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We've had a lot of different people on the show talk about things related to property management, but your approach is so unique and, it ends up being win-win. Can you share more about what that process is like? Do you have like a system that you go through that, helps crunch the numbers with investors?
Oh, 100%. So yeah, it starts with really just kind of an introduction call with the investors and really just kind of like a very high level, hey, what are you looking to gain? Is this more of what we kind of call like a lifestyle play or an investment play? Because sometimes a lot of real estate deals don't make sense, but it could be more of a lifestyle play. Like, hey, you might like to vacation to a certain destination and you're just trying to have some of that revenue offset that investment. The majority of people that we deal with, they're strictly just investors. They're looking at the business aspect side of it. So what we really do on that first call is really just try to identify, no pressure. Again, we don't do real estate at all, but just get an idea of, hey, what are you looking to invest? And what kind of property types we feel would fit that investment, and also what locations. And then I think what a lot of people don't discuss, and you're not going to hear from your realtors or anyone else in the game, is what investment are you going to have to make post-purchase to really make that property successful, especially in the vacation rental world, because it's not just having, hey, I've got a house on the beach. I mean, you've got to have the view, you've got to have the theming, you've got to have the decor, you're having the little things that are going to make a huge difference in whether or not you're going to get bookings, is having those extra amenities, especially here, in the Orlando market. There's houses everywhere, but if anyone's looked just on, Airbnb or booking.com or VRBO here, it's all these homes are like fun houses. I mean, they have game rooms and theme rooms, and there's a lot of things that, having the house is step one, but you really have to have the right things to make it successful. And so I think a lot of people aren't kind of wrapping their heads around that before they buy something. And so that way, before they go into talking with whatever realtor, they have a really good firm foundation on, hey, this is my budget to buy something. This is kind of the price type we need, the location we need. And then whether it's going to be something that's ready to go and it's a turnkey property that has all those things, great. Or if it's not, this is the kind of investment that you're not going to be able to make, roll up in your loan necessarily, but you're going to need to make in the property post-purchase to make it be successful. And then also that run-up time on, from the day you close on it to like when you're going to actually see cash flow. So that first kind of call is really just kind of on a high level, going over all of those things.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Outside of that, what we do is we also explain, we do have our own way of breaking down a property or investment to get an idea of like, hey, this is the purchase price. Oh, this is kind of what your loan terms are roughly going to look like. Or run it through our analysis and give you a really good idea on hey, this is what we expect the revenue to be, over year 1, year 2, year 3. And not just, on a high level, but also a monthly. So you can kind of get an idea of what your cash flow is going to be. But then we also try to throw in all of those, costs that are, I think, unknown to a lot of investors initially that they don't really understand is, at least in this business, you are running a hotel. You're going to have electrical, you're going to have to buy linens, you're going to get photos, you're going to buy plates and, pay for the cable bill and HOA and landscaping and pool maintenance and all of the things that I think they don't necessarily kind of really recognize that you're not going to hear from your realtor before you go in and make that investment. So that way they have a good idea of, hey, this is how we break down a property to let you know, hey, this is going to be good cash flow or not, or what's this going to look like over the next 5 or 10 years. And then we'll go over what we can, do as far as like enhancements, whether it's through our company or any company, as far as kind of taking that property up to the next level, as far as making it, be a top performer in the area. So we kind of go over that analysis, and then from there, it's really just kind of we do an introduction, or ask for an introduction between them and their whatever realtor they choose, and then any property that they're considering, we'll turn around and do our own analysis on. So that way, before they make an offer, before they kind of go to the table with any kind of ink on paper, we have a really good idea of what that investment's going to look like, as far as their return in the vacation rental world.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool, and it's helpful that you are, part of your process is talking about what kind of enhancements that could be done to the property. Have you noticed any trends when it comes to the kind of enhancements that investors should look for when they're looking at a vacation property?
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, this is I think the funnest side of my business, in a sense, is kind of making these properties fun and kind of really appeal. And each market's completely different. For example, our flagships in Orlando, and it's all about kind of driving the large properties with making the home the destination with the game rooms, these themed rooms where they have, either different Disney characters or movie characters, and these fun game rooms and theater rooms, and really kind of helps the listing stand out online. If we're talking about our location in Austin, it's a much different crowd. It's more of the young professional, more social crowd, groups of about 4 to 8 young adults that are there to kind of enjoy the nightlife and the scene and the festivals. And so the enhancements are more of like these outdoor kind of cool areas with like the string lights and the hot tubs and the grill pits and these kind of things that make the photos pop. But each destination is different, and what I think you're not going to hear from a lot of people is vacation rental investments have gotten more and more popular over the past decade for sure. It's really just kind of skyrocketed, and with that, markets are getting more and more saturated. And so the fun thing, at least for me, is yes, you can still be successful, but you have to kind of do those extra things to make the property stand out. These, what we call these social media walls, these Instagrammable walls, these kind of photo-esque moments that are really going to make both your property stand out online with the bright colors and the photos, but make it the destination. And so each location's different. And so when we're talking about any owner, with whatever their investment category is, we'll recommend locations based off of that, and their budget, because, for example, the Orlando market, there's probably 6,000 townhomes or, 2 or 3 bedroom condos here that you could easily buy, but they're just not successful. It really appeals to the large groups. And once you get one of these larger homes at work, you have to have all the things in it, like the game rooms and the theme rooms and, the kind of cool stuff that's going to make it pop. And so, but that $500,000 investment will really get you kind of far in like a place like Austin or Nashville, where you could have a cool little townhouse that's going to sleep 6 people and have kind of like the rooftop terrace with something cool that overlooks the downtown, or a cool outdoor area that's, got bocce ball and, the string lights, and something that's fun that's really going to make the property stand out. And so, to me, that's the biggest part, at least the funnest part of working with these owners, is kind of helping them be like, look, this is what you need to do to kind of make it stand out, post-purchase.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, yeah, there's so many fun aspects to that. Let's talk about the flip side, the harder parts of property management. Can you share a moment on your journey, the more difficult part? Maybe you had to completely pivot for a client. Maybe you had to be creative when it came to problem solving. Can you share one of those moments and what you learned from it?
Yeah, I mean, so we've had a few. A lot of it, kind of that post-purchase, what we call like the enhancement, so that upkeep thing. I think is where we have to get the most problem solving is when you get into, hey, congrats on the owner, we've gotten this house, like let's make it fun, let's get it geared up, let's get it set up, type thing. And you run into just different challenges with either budgets or kind of the unknowns, an unexpected repair or something happens and that kind of eats into the budget and kind of either enhancing the property or kind of making it fun. And so we've had a few chances to get really kind of creative and, really kind of with the team work with, okay, how do we make this look awesome with this kind of a budget, and I think we've been really successful with it. And we have some different packages we do, with some of these rooms that can start reasonably, really, really affordable to kind of make it fun. But I'd say the biggest challenges we've kind of faced is kind of two things really is one is working with owners that, we didn't work with, necessarily on the investment side, that we either got a referral to us or, one way or the other, they're in front of us and they've already bought the home and they kind of just made, a really bad deal on the property is kind of what we're running into, where they're either over leveraged or over financed or, a lot of times realtors, vacation rental companies, that everyone will kind of promise the moon. And so they'll buy something. And then when it gets down to the nitty gritty, it's, hey, the revenue doesn't quite offset the expenses. And, we're seeing more and more, especially in the last couple of years, a lot of people that just really over leveraged, they just over financed, didn't put enough down. You do have swings in cash flow in the industry. It's like any other industry. We have highs and lows and peaks and valleys. And, we are in a little bit of, a downturn in the economy, whether it's, you call it tariffs or recession, whatever you want to call it, it is down. And so it's not unmanageable, but, everywhere's taking a little bit of a haircut. But where I really see a lot of owners struggling right now are the ones that kind of over leveraged and they've got a really high mortgage and things to float. So when you do have that month or two of just kind of down revenue, having enough cash flow to kind of float that over the downturn, is something we really run into as a challenge with the industry. Now we do everything we can with working with them, on kind of taking it up to that next level. And I think that's where getting kind of creative with, having a conversation with someone that, hey, you overpaid, or you overfinanced and, the house doesn't really have anything that fun and we can help get you up to this kind of revenue level, but we need to do X, Y, and Z is usually a tough conversation. And I think that's where our team's been really well on being creative on like, how do we enhance a property with, get the most bang for their buck with a little bit of a budget as possible, at least kind of get things kind of turned back around. The next is going to be, I have to say, tech. I mean, it's changing every day in the industry with every single booking channel or platform, whatever you want to call it, whether it's booking.com or HomeAway or VRBO. And I think it's great how it's evolving. I think, 5 years ago, even today still, but everyone talks about it as like, hey, I'm going to Airbnb my home like it's a verb, type thing. But you are seeing more and more channels really get involved in the industry, from hotels.com, booking.com, Expedia, VRBO, and so all of these different booking platforms now that they are involved, they'll have different tech challenges and things to kind of automate. And your average traveler nowadays is much younger than when I first got started in the hotel business, years ago. And so with that, their communication preferences are way different. And a lot of times they don't want to call, they don't want to send an email, they want to text or communicate through an app or send some kind of photo or, send me a pin to this or, could you just, drop me a pin to the doors location and things like that. And so having all these channels integrate with our software to be able to do these kind of things is probably one of our other challenges, I would say, in the industry today.
Yeah, that technology changes fast. Well, what you've built with Lavish Keys is so exciting. What would you say is next on the horizon?
So what's next for us? I mean, we've had so much success with working with investors prior to purchase. It's really kind of created a nice niche little setup for us and really just some great relationships with our property investors because, kind of getting in with them on the ground floor on day one both really helps build that relationship, but also set the expectations on, they really kind of know what to expect going into it, and how the cash flow and the investment's going to work. And that being said, I'd first open a couple locations because they were just great areas and great markets. And the more I've dealt with investors, the more I'm kind of seeing that, hey, there's really investors at every scale. So we have a couple locations now, but I think in the next year, what we really like to do is help have probably 3 new markets that are kind of fit every asset class, of investment that people are wanting to invest in. So that way we kind of can, the people that are looking to purchase something that's in like the 500,000 or less, we have a market or two that would kind of fit that budget. Not that we still can't coach and help and educate people. And odds are I know someone in the area that I could at least, point them in the right direction. But I think having the ability for us to, when we're dealing with an investor, and it's been such a beneficial part for us by having that relationship so early on, that also being able to operate in some of the locations that we're helping them, or coaching them to invest their money into, it would be a huge help for us. So that's kind of what's next for us, is to have something in each market, both a high, mid, and a low level investment category for vacation rentals.
That's exciting. Well, John, is someone listening here wants to connect, reach out, maybe they're looking at a vacation property. What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, you can reach us anytime online. Our website is lavishkeys.com, or you can always email me. It's Jean, Jean, at lavishkeys.com, and our team would be happy to help assist you. And again, I mean, there's no fee, there's no upfront costs. It's just our investment kind of coaching is a free service. We just want to help make sure we get people in the right homes from out the gate, and it usually ends up being a much better investment. So, but yeah, you can reach me anytime. Our team would love to help you.
Excellent. Well, John, I appreciate your time, story, perspective. And, we need more people in the real estate world who want to do things the right way and create win-win situations.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for having me, and look forward to speaking with you guys again soon.
Yeah. And for our listeners today, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the Real Estate Pros podcast. We've got more conversations lined up with pros like Jean, who are out there building fantastic real estate businesses. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.